Welcome back, you guys. I think we're gonna have a pretty interesting build tonight. We happen to have the P10 F in hand. Now, I kind of want to tell you the backstory. We had a customer reach out to us and they ended up having a different slide done, and when they got it back, they were so pleased with it they had decided, I want you to work on my F model. Now, that's pretty interesting for us because, one, we really haven't done a lot to the F model. They are longer, obviously, than the C, so there's a lot more real estate here to work with in the front. And I thought it was a great opportunity for us to kind of do our thing because the customer was like, hey, I've just got a budget, I want you to do your thing. So it kind of ended up working out pretty nice, where we had a lot of creative freedom over the build. What do we want to do? Is there something new we want to try? And this individual was open to that idea. So it really gives us an opportunity to really poke at this slide and figure out thicknesses and different lengths, and are there other patterns that will work. So of course today we're going to be doing something that we have not done before. We're going to be doing a new build. Kind of want to just take you guys through that. Now, of course, this is the optic ready model. So basically the top rear of this is going to be quite limited on what we really can do, because we really don't want to damage the cover, but we do want to make the cover kind of appear seamless to the slide if this individual is not going to be running an optic. So in other words, we want to make sure that it's incorporated into the design, but we don't want to overdo it with the cover because they are kind of hard to hold, and sometimes they have weight reduction pockets in the inside. So there happen to be a lot of kind of watchy kind of things, or kind of those little gotchas, like don't cut too deep, or you might have an issue, you might crack it, or maybe made of a different material. So we do want to incorporate it, but we do want to make sure that we're not specifically focusing on it, as the customer more than likely is going to be running an optic. So let's just kind of talk about what the idea here is. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. I'm going to draw on this. There's already some small marks already on it from when I was kind of just going through the idea of what I want to do. I want to talk about what we're going to be doing, and then I want to talk about the hurdles of that. So obviously we worked on a lot of the P10C models, and it is definitely a little bit different here with the way the sides lay. It's not just a longer slide. There's actually some changes to the dimensions of the slide, not just in length. So let's talk about the cut work first. So we want to basically do top cut work. We really don't want to do any side work. And of course the back we do want to incorporate, but we don't want to go overboard. So what we want to do is we're actually going to be doing like this kind of, and this is going to be rough, guys, because I'm way behind the camera here, I'm leaning over. We're going to end up doing these cuts that look like this. They're going to almost be like circular cuts. And I'm not sure whether we'll be doing 4 or 5. We still got to work through all the drawing here. But the idea is that we want to do these cuts, and from the top side that you're kind of like, I don't know, they really don't look like all that much. But if you happen to have seen our Raptor cuts, the way the Raptor cuts work, and they don't go in this direction, but the Raptor cuts go the other way, they go, deeper, then shallower, then shallower, then shallower. So that's kind of the way the Raptor cuts work. And we're going to be doing the same thing with this, where it's actually going to be a cut all the way through. Okay, so you're going to be able to see barrel through these top notches, but it's going to be deeper, and then it's going to be a little bit shallower, a little bit shallower, a little bit shallower, facing forward. It's almost a reverse. So the cut is actually from the side. If you couldn't see the top at all, it would be going this way. Of course, it will cross over the top, and of course, we get the same thing on the other side. So one of the hurdles of this is that on the C model is that there's a lot more distance between this top ridge and this side chamfer from where the front serrations are. So there's a lot more real estate in this zone. Okay. So we happen to see that difference in step up and step down significantly more. So if you were to kind of measure from here and measure from here, and then you did a comparison to the P10, you're going to find out that there's a lot more material down here. It's almost like this. Okay, so there's a big open zone. So what that means is whenever we do our lower cut here and our shallower cut here, I don't know if we're going to see a lot of transitional change from the overall depth, just because we don't really have that much side to work with here. Matter of fact, if you look at it, you can kind of tell that this is really quite thick, and this is about the same. It doesn't really blend down a whole lot further. So I'm not sure if that was just something, how it was designed, or if that was an overall structural change to, for some sort of support on the inside. One of the other things that we don't really notice, which we see on some of the other guns on the market, is that like from here to here, we'll usually see some sort of a thicker wall, and then it will taper into a thinner wall. But on this F model, it's the same thickness all the way down. So not to say that that has anything to do with CZ, but usually we do see that on a lot of different firearms. M&P, Glocks, a lot of the the FNs that are out there. So I'm thinking that there's a reason why this is such a short edge cut instead of a deep edge cut is something to do with the structural support from the manufacturer. So now that we have a good idea of what we're going to be doing on the top, we're going to be doing these cuts, these circular cuts. What we also want to do, of course, the sight will come off, this all gets stripped. We also want to do a knurling pattern. So we're going to have a knurling pattern all the way through here. Now there's a couple different reasons that we want to do that. One, we want to do that for glare reduction. So obviously if you were shooting, we see this on a lot of the high-end guns, the Wilson Combats, mostly in the 1911 world because that dome topped. And what we end up getting is some sort of a matte piece on the top, so when you're firing or you're looking down range, you're not getting a glare off these edges. Okay, so that's one of the reasons we're doing it. Obviously, we want to make sure that we have some sort of a pattern that ties into the rear cover as well, because we don't want to cut real deep into the rear cover. So I think it's a good opportunity to do something from nose to rear across the entire thing, including the cap, which is going to be a little challenging. We're going to see how that fits because we've got some cracks in through here, and obviously you can tell this is a different material because the coating's not even quite the same. So, you know, with some of these cracks that are on the top through here like that, we're gonna have to see how that plays because we are gonna have to leave it mounted into the slide while doing the knurling because we really don't have any other way of truly holding it and making sure that it aligns correctly. So we're gonna have to work through that challenge as well. But guys, I think it's a great opportunity to see something different. We have sent the barrel out for titanium nitride, so we've got a polished tin coating on here. I think it's going to be a good opportunity to see the barrel through here. You won't really see it as a shooter this way, just because it's down in the hole, so we still don't have to worry about any, you know, reflection or glare or anything like that. But the opportunity overall for the presentation of showing the difference in the cutwork and the difference in the barrel and how they technically contrast with each other, because we want that barrel to poke through and shine through. I think it's a great opportunity. So we're going to see how that comes out. And guys, that's kind of where we are. Let's jump over to the CNC machine. Let's turn this work out. Let's bring it back. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, and let's just kind of see what we come up with. Alright guys, let's take a look and see exactly how this came out. I do want to go through the cut work a little bit more, give you my opinion on it because it happened to be a new design that we really haven't done before, longer slide that we really haven't worked on before. These are kind of all the key points we talked about at the beginning of the video. Let's just kind of jump through that and then I'm going to give you some other opinions on what I think. The top circular cuts, really nice, deeper, shallower, exposing some nice barrel. A lot of room between this cut and the barrel. So we've got a real nice strength area for the lockup zone. So we're not going to worry about cracking anything over time. Really nice strength area between the front sight and this front cut as well. So once again, no issues with cracking the sight or cracking the socket where the sight goes. Really nice. We're definitely going to be able to see some nice barrel exposure through here. I'm really liking the larger cutter that we used for the work. It just seemed to work a little bit better since the slide's a little bit longer. Let's talk about that top knurling. So really loving the top knurling. Once again, it's a glare reduction type of cut. So we do get texture off of it. We can feel that. We do get a lot of people that say, hey, can we do this knurling over some rear grips or can we do it in place of some rear grips? I don't recommend replacing any rear or front grips with knurling. I just don't think that the pattern has enough of a hit there for your fingers to grab onto. I think it's a nice upgrade on top of serrations, like something like a Glock serration that has a little bit of a standoff. You could probably even knurl on the top here, but I don't think it's a replacement piece. Overall, I think for this build, I think it's awesome. You're outside, you're shooting, you're getting a lot of morning sun. What we're not getting is a lot of glare on the top of the slide because this is all going to be reflected off. There's no flat point on the top of the slide like there is from the factory, with it just being smooth. So once again, as we discussed at the beginning of the video, we see that a lot of the higher end 1911s, they've got a line on the top of them, they've got straight flutes, they've got some sort of texture, they've got a knurling, something that's reflecting the sun off of it from rear to front sight. So we're not getting any kind of glare between these two guys when we're aligning, when we're shooting, when we're having fun. So overall, I think we definitely achieved that. I really do like the knurling. I think it was the best fit for here because we don't know if the rear cap's going to be on it or optic is going to be on it. So it comes out being one of those things that we definitely want to incorporate the rear cap into the cut to make sure everything looks kind of uniformed when it's not optic set up. So really pleased. Guys, let's talk about that barrel. Titanium nitride, overall really pleased with the barrel. This is a service that we sent out. Of course, we do 24 karat gold, nickel, copper. Guys, it's really just user preference. We get a lot of people that say, should I go with titanium nitride, should I go with 24 karat gold? Titanium nitride, no doubt, is a more durable coating than 24 karat. However, it's not gold. It doesn't technically look like gold. There is a difference between the two. So once again, it comes down to user preference on what you're going to be doing. The gold itself is a durable coating. Obviously, it's not as durable as titanium nitride. It is quicker to get the 24 karat gold back than it is to get titanium nitride, okay? So that's just the nature of the beast, how they're processed, okay? So that's totally up to you guys how you want to go about having that done. Overall, I like both coatings. I think there's an application for both of those coatings in the real world environment. It's totally user preference. We do get that question asked a lot. We have included a picture of the two different ones. This barrel obviously is the one that's in the picture that shows the titanium nitride, and the other barrel is the 24 karat gold. You guys can obviously see a tone difference there. We'll take that picture. Some of those pictures were taken inside, so we're trying to get the same lighting across both. Let's stick this in the F model and see exactly how it looks. Super pleased with that. Nice barrel exposure. Not too much, but just enough to really show it. So obviously we're seeing some front down through the sides, and obviously we have the top. One of the only changes I probably would have made to this, because this was kind of a build as you go, is I probably would have knurled the top just to match that all the way down through there. The downside is that knurling does have a tendency to create points, just like we see here, and as this barrel slides in and out during cycling, it does have a tendency to rip off the top of those points because there's less surface touch space whenever it does cycle. So in other words, those points are getting a lot more aggression on them than the whole top of the barrel because there's a lot less points being made contact. So overall, really pleased with the way that looks. I'm going to slip this spring in here because what I don't want to do is have the barrel slide out, so we're just going to put this in here. I am working behind the camera, but that'll keep us together. Guys, a couple things I want to talk about real quick here. I want to just kind of point a few things out to you guys. A lot of people that end up watching the channel are people that are interested in having something done, okay? Or you're a machinist and you do stuff, right? So you offer a service to people. I want to touch point on that for a moment here, and that is support the businesses that are making new things, okay? You guys can go online. There is a ton of different patterns that are out there that you could buy a slide, you can drop that on your frame, boom, you are done. The problem with it is that you're just a number to that company. They've created a product, okay, and what they've done is they said, we're going to use an aftermarket slide, we're going to sell you a slide, we're going to go ahead and we sell X amount a year, and here it is what it is. The problem with it is one, we really don't know what the slides are made out of. Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't tell you. And two, which is the number one problem, I know 2 is number 1, whatever. It's the number one problem is that you now have a factory slide that has no value unless you sell it, but if you ever want to sell your pistol, you're going to want to keep it. So now what you've done is you've rolled money into an aftermarket slide. It looks awesome. You're super happy with it, and you're stuck with a paperweight of a slide that really has no value, and you can't really, I mean, you could do something to it, a custom job, but you should have done that in the first place. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is there's a ton of companies like myself, a lot of smaller companies that they're building custom stuff. We want to work on what you're providing. We don't want to manufacture anything and make you be a number, okay? So choose what you want. I want to get my barrel done. I want to get my slide done. I want to get my whatever, fill in the blank. And we're going to work through that with you. Once again, I'm not speaking just about myself here. I'm speaking as a whole. This is the best way to think about this is holster companies, okay? You go through a gun show somewhere and there's like, a ton of gun dealers in there, but there's just as many holster companies in there usually. And some are good and some are bad, and some have warranty policies and some have patterns and some are super nice. It's just a range of stuff, right? I mean, literally, you could spend $10 and buy a nylon holster, you can spend $150 and buy something that's made out of leather. So the point being made is that we're kind of the same way when it comes to customizing what you're providing. And that is, we range from good to pretty much horrible. So do your homework on who's doing the custom work. Don't be the guy who's just buying a holster. I'm just going to use it as an example. Don't be the guy who's buying a Safariland holster because I have enough money and it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that holster. I'm just using it as an example. What I'm saying is that you're just a number to them because you don't have anything to do with their business. In other words, they're going to crank out that product. They're going to put it on the shelves. They're going to get to their resellers, and they're going to put it on their shelves, and they're going to sell it, and they're going to keep doing what they're doing, and you're going to keep buying what you're buying. The problem with it is that really, they haven't really changed anything, right? It's the same holster, once again, just using a company in general. These are the same holsters and the same slides that people have been making since 2012, 2013, 14, 15. They're still milking the market for the same thing they've done before. The only change is they've perfected how to manufacture the slide that you want to buy at the same price it is now as it was then, right? Hopefully you guys are seeing all that. So with that being said, guys, I would highly recommend that you reach out to a company like myself or a different one if there's somebody local to you. I always support other businesses that are local to you. Ask them, what can you do for me? Build something new. We love to see new products on the market. That's the reason we have SHOT Show. That's the reason we have a biggest gun show of the year, usually in Vegas, right? Because we're building new things. We're displaying new items. What we're not doing is coming and saying, yep, this is the one from last year. Super cool last year in January. It's super cool this year in January. No, no one cares about that. Okay, what we want to see is new designs, new patterns, new coatings, new everything. We want to keep evolving. And sometimes it's hard for me to say that because we have had a move from home to business, right? And that has put a lot of custom things on the back burner because we haven't been able to do them because we're still trying to get both feet on the ground and work through a lot of this stuff. But the point being made is that we're hoping to get back to the customization like this. We are hoping to get back to, let's work on some things that we haven't worked on before. Let's build some patterns that we haven't done before. So guys, if you have not been following the channel, we would highly recommend you follow the channel, share the content, give an opinion. That's why there's a comment section down below. A lot of companies lock it out. They don't want to see the likes. They don't want to see the dislikes. You know, we're not that company. Leave a comment. Tell us what you have to say about it. Matter of fact, we may be one of the only companies on YouTube that's actually building something, showing you and asking for your opinion instead of mass producing something and telling you it's amazing and not really caring what your opinion is. Right? So we're building it as we go. We're actually showing you how are we doing it, not here's what we did, right? Those are two different things. So with that being said, Instagram is definitely the place to go. You more than likely had seen this on Instagram before you had seen this on our YouTube channel. We have a, you'll waste your life away. Go over to Facebook. There's reviews on there. I think there's 136 reviews over the last 2.5, 3 years. Basically, we started in mid-17. We're in 2020. We've got 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're hitting almost 17,000 on Instagram. Real subscribers, not none of that, you know, pay 70 bucks and get 10,000 subscriber jargon. Like real subscribers, you know, fake people have no value, right? So we're not buying people to follow us. So these are real subscribers. And then on Facebook, we got about 5,000. So the idea is that we are a growing company. We want to remain a growing company. We want to be that company that's still supporting you guys, still showing you new things. And we're hoping to get a little bit of love back on the subscribing, the following, the comment and partaking. And then, of course, we have a contacts tab. Right, we would recommend that you go to the webpage, NCEngravers.com, as you will see down here in the bottom left-hand corner towards the end of the video. That's our webpage. Go there and you'll see all kinds of stuff that you didn't even know exist. So really cool there. We would recommend that you reach out to us if you want to just kind of get a feel for what it is that we offer. But guys, the biggest advice I can give to you is stop supporting the companies that are selling the same garbage to you over and over and over again. If you wanted that, you'd go through the McDonald's drive-thru every night, right? Nobody wants that. So what I'm trying to tell you is reach outside of the box, go to one of those new restaurants, see exactly how that food is. Maybe you want to come back, maybe you don't want to come back. If they've got a lot of high reviews and ratings, there's probably going to be a line to get in. So that's just how it happens to work with the gun world. If they're really good, there might be a line to get in. But you know what? You know what you're getting when you went in. You know you're happy when you came out. So it's going to kind of be one of those deals. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to me and let's just see what we come up with on our next project.